Dumelang bagaetsho, I'm Tebogo Tinti, and welcome to ONSET, a South African state theatre production that takes you to different sets of different shows, different theatres, different stages. And today we are in conversation about a dance production called DARKCELL. And joining me to talk about it is Fana Chabalala. Thank you so much for joining me, and welcome to the show. Now, if we can just get straight into DARKCELL, what is it about?
Can I take you through the history of DARKCELL?
Please.
DARKCELL, it's a late Themba Mbuli's concept and an idea, and it was also choreographed by him. The piece was choreographed in 2012 as a solo, and then since from then it was performed as a solo, duet, and trio, and a group work with different people. And people who have performed this work, they from MID, Unmute, and also Broken Borders Arts Project, which is our company that was founded by me, Tulani, and Themba Mbuli. So initially, the piece it was called Dark City. That was the solo. So since from then, he's been reworking the piece till he passed away. So the piece is actually, it was inspired by the images of Robben Island. And it's also a metaphor for mental slavery or mental imprisonment. So this piece is also a celebration of the 25th years of, freedom in South Africa. So that's why in the piece you'll see a lot of images about Robben Island. And in terms of the performance, you'll see a lot of physical images that were happening in Robben Island. And so when Themba works with this piece, he actually gives the performer a platform to become collaborators, not just to performers, give you a platform to also interpret the piece the way you want it to look like, so that you can also connect to the piece.
Oh, wow. So before it became DARKCELL, when it was Dark City,
yes,
the concept was still the same. It was still based on Robben Island and the prison and all of that. Or has there been significant changes to the piece?
You know, the concept stays the same in terms of the synopsis and everything. But you know what? It changes with the performance because it's performed by different people. So that's the change. It's constantly happening. But the images in terms of the projections stays the same in the structure.
So you are the one who's never done it as a solo.
Yes.
You've only ever done it as a trio and a duo now.
Yes, exactly. But Tulani has done it as a solo.
We're going to hear more about DARKCELL right after the break. We'll be right back.
Here we go, gents. Here we go. Patience. Patience is virtue. Come on. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Let's go.
The voices in my head are screaming good line. The voices in my head eating mokine. Rijanjiza alkatele mochini. Let's get away.
This is the only safe way, Charlie. It is long and lonely.
Bloody cowards. They're running away.
Let's just split the cash and go separate ways. By the time we get to the safe house, it will be fucking late. I've got a 6 o'clock appointment, man.
I hate him. He messed up. Big time.
Oh, if I had it my way, I'd kill him now.
Do you know that there is a heist that is legally illegal but naturally legal?
It's not an illegal heist. If we kill this guy, then we are animals.
Well, some animals are more superior than others. At this moment, we are the superior ones.
Come on, let's go.
That's it, don't.
Welcome back to ONSET, and we are still in conversation about DARKCELL. Now, the Kucheza Dance Festival the theme this year has been a dedication to those we lost. And DARKCELL, having lost a member, it would be one of those significant pieces to say, even when you perform it as a performer, you have that in the back of your mind to say you have a member missing. How has that been like for you?
You know, to be quite honest, because when we performed DARKCELL, initially we were going to perform it as a trio, but unfortunately, January things happened. So we have to readapt the piece as a duet. And for us, it was not so easy because when we had to readapt, we had to look at the video. And bear in mind, this Themba has been like a friend, like a family to us, and then also a part of the director. So it was not easy to adapt it, but we managed to do it because we also feel that his spirit it's always with us.
Did you and your partner during this have those moments where you say, I'm Fritz Asiek, Kunsim? Or did you always say, you know what, the show must go on in memory of Themba, the show must just go on?
Well, you know what, Tulane and I and Themba, we know that those kind of a person who used to talk a lot. But what will usually happen because we also work with the spirit and the feeling that we have each other. Because I can tell if Tulane is not well, and he can also tell. But we feel each other, and when we feel this is too much, we take a break, we go outside and do whatever needs to be done, and then we come back in studio. But for us, it was really, we had a motivation to go on because that's what he want us to do. You know what? Life doesn't stop, but it continues. But we honor the memories and the images and everything that we're going through with him.
You honor the memories. I like that. So now there's a moment in DARKCELL where you have buckets over your head. That for me is when you mentioned something about mental slavery.
Yes.
And then now we have a situation where men in mental health don't get the attention that, say, women get. So this also shines a light on that. So in terms of producing work such as this, what do you hope to communicate to your audience, especially about this mental health amongst men?
You know, this is one of the conversation we usually had, the three of us. It's like the with the men and the society, the platform that we given, and then as we grow up, you be a man. And this is also poses a lot of mental slavery and mental imprisonment for us. That's why the Themba, when he works, he says personalize this thing so that it becomes real. It's not just a performance. So for us, these images were quite important because they were also taking us through our own journey. It was not so easy because bear in mind, last year as well, year before last, it was the matter of COVID. We were all in the mental slavery because you sit at home, think. You're not allowed to talk to people, to meet people, but the only way to survive, it was to be in your head. And that was also a mental slavery that we faced. But I must tell you, in this piece, we say, we know what, we recognize that men have a problem of talking. So what can we do? That's why we always push for every performance to have a Q&A with the audience so that we can also have we can also open a platform for the audience and us to talk, hoping that the men will also talk.
Yes.
Yes.
So the message here would be, iyakhala indoda ne?
Ya indoda iyakhala. Yes,
Iyakhala, ne?
thina siyakhala. Uthola indoda etoilet baba. Ekhala. And makaphuma lapha uthi grand. Mara uyabona emehlweni ukuthi hayi le bekhala le.
On that note, madoda ningakhali, ne, we'll be right back after this. Welcome back to ONSET, and we are still talking about DARKCELL. I want to get into the moment where, at the end of the piece,
yes.
maybe you get asked this a lot.
Yeah.
You're standing there and you guys are going bare now. All off. You're taking your clothes off. Ne?
Yes.
And you have your back towards the audience. What is the message there? Is that because I understood it to be this is how we bear it all? You know, like is that what you're trying to portray?
You know, as I've said in the opening of this conversation, the images from Robben Island, they are also inspiration to the piece. And there was this very, very strong images that he wants to put at the end of the piece, because with the bars, so there's a lot of question, because sometimes you'll put it in the beginning of the piece and then you lose the audience because of the but for us, we're saying that these images happened at the Robben Island. Why don't you bring this image close to the people? And in that moment, as you have said, men, they are not people who are very open. But in this moment, we're putting ourselves in a vulnerable state. Vulnerable state.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, to say this is who we are, this is what we can give.
Now, do we know for sure why we had those moments in Robben Island? Were they being stripped naked to be whooped, or is because there was a strip search, or do we know exactly why? Because the narrative on there is still very sketchy.
Yeah, you know what? People have different narratives because that we for that section we call it a shower. Because it's a shower section. But in Robben Island, it's when people were getting searched. If you are not bringing anything, if you're hiding something, it's always like that in prison. You'll get naked and make sure you are not carrying anything.
So now in putting this work forward, there's a little boy or a little girl at home who's going to watch this and say, this is our history as Black people.
Yes.
This is our story. I come from people who went through this. What do you want them to take away? Like, what is the one thing that you want to communicate to somebody who's just watching and doesn't even understand dance, but understand the concept of DARKCELL?
The piece, every time when we do it, we're hoping for the longer future. So that because we're quite aware that our history somehow is getting lost. And it's a very vital history because it made us who we are today. So we're hoping that we'll perform this piece for younger audience who's still growing up so that they become curious about their history. So for us, the one message that we want to say is history made us to be who we are today.
It definitely has. And I absolutely have to congratulate you guys because the connection that we see on stage, it really does show who you have put in some work in it. I don't know if it's sweat or if it's tears. Tell me that because I was like, hey, did it take you to that point where you actually shed tears on stage during a performance?
You know what, for both, in fact, the three of us, we even now I'm sweating. I sweat a lot. 1 minute into the stage, I'm already wet, like dripping. But for us, because you know what, every time when we perform, we go deeper into our soul. It's not just about performance. No, we go deeper. So for us, this sweat represents the inside of us. Who we are when we're sweating. It's not something, we don't even think about it.
It just happens.
It just happens.
And your facial expressions, guys, you mess us up there when we watch you guys perform on stage.
Because you know what, we are not in this world anymore, we are somewhere else.
Yeah.
This is what made for us, make a great performer or a human being.
What do you hope to see for the history of DARKCELL and everybody that has been a part of it, those who are here and those who are no longer here? What do you hope to see happen? Because I would imagine that you would want to see, maybe you would be the one choreographing, teaching the new ones.
Yes,
and the story would live long.
Yes.
But how far would you want this to reach worldwide? Because you know Kucheza Africa dance is international.
Yes.
But how far do you want this to go? Like, because there are people who still don't know the history of the Robben Island.
Yeah, you know, there's something I forgot to mention in the beginning is that the piece has been performed from 2012. And the piece has reached 15 cities and 10 countries. Also, it's been performing in France, in Switzerland, in Wales, in Argentina, and lots of countries. I think in South Africa it went to different Cape Town, Johannesburg, in a lot of places. So for me, it will be important to have other new performers performing this piece, to also introducing them to the theme.
Yeah, maybe next time try to put like a female cast there.
Yeah, you know what? Initially,
Just to put a twist on it.
there
Put a
is,
female cast
yeah,
there.
the one if we're moving into Dark City.
Yeah.
It was actually there were let me see, if I'm not mistaken, 2 females.
See, that's what's up. That's what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Spina, for your time, and thank you so much for your talent and the work that you continue to do. DARKCELL is incredibly, incredibly beautiful piece to watch, and we absolutely honor and appreciate Themba Mbuli for the work that he did. And this performance is surely a dedication to him. This episode is a dedication to him. The theme of the festival, like I said, is a dedication to those we lost throughout. So thank you for joining us for ONSET, and we will see you next time on a different ONSET.